Here's how I was able to leave a lasting impression with my boss in a matter of 3 weeks. And you can do it too. So, I was watching a YouTube video, as all of us do nowadays. And there's this guy, Dan Pena. Now, some people might think he's a scam. Other guys who've gone through his stuff, they know he's legit. I've read his book. I've listened to the audiobook. And what I found interesting was that he said that most people don't even use 20% of their potential, right? And I sat there, I was like, what is this guy talking about? And he said, you don't even give your hardest at work. You don't know what it's like to work hard. And I'm like, sitting there like, what do you mean? And I kept thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something. I'm going to push myself as hard as I can for 3 weeks. And I did. And it was crazy. So normally when you be working and you do programming, you get to this point where you have a lull in the work and then you kind of get distracted. You watch a YouTube video, you go on social media, you get into this loop. Well, I didn't do that. I didn't do that for 3 weeks straight. I would record my time. So how did I do it, right? What I did is I recorded my time using Toggle, and I have the stats, and we'll put those up here on the screen in a bit. And what I did is I just recorded, and I caught myself not being productive. And I was like, all right, let's try this out. Let's just be productive constantly all day. So I did, and my plan was this. Super, super productive to get as many things done. As soon as you finish one, you immediately start the next one. Make sure you have the whole day laid out. Not to-do list, just all the things that could be done, but not today, period. And I worked through that entire list. I got everything done on it in such a fast rate that it was incredible to me. But that wasn't the plan, right? The plan was to do a lot of work and then in my daily updates with my boss, have so many things listed as completed for my boss. I tell him, I got this done, this done, this done, this done. To the point where it was like the best part of his day, like every single day for 3 weeks straight. And so I would be getting all this work done and I would be moving really, really fast. And I started noticing that the start of the workday was getting to be fun too, which is really funny. So I'd be in my morning stand-up meetings and just, giving my report of how well I'm doing. And I'd be like sitting there like, okay, like I'm getting a lot done, like in comparison to others and all that. And that wasn't the point, but I was just getting a lot done. What if I pushed harder? So I did. I kept pushing harder and harder. And every day for those 3 weeks, I was getting so much stuff done that it like gave this idea that I was like really, really, really good. And that's been beneficial to me for a bit now. But like, it only took me 3 weeks to establish the reputation of being somebody who gets a lot done. But the long-lasting effect, which, it's dangerous if you allow this to happen to yourself, dangerously good for you, is I was able to create productivity in myself that I had never seen before. Like, I'm good at my job, I'm good at programming, but I was able to get more done than anyone I knew at that pace. I was just boom, 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 boom. And, I could ask for things and I would get them. It would just be because of the reputation I built. Now, before we go even further, I want to explain something. We don't know how good we are. We often don't even approach it. And so what this thing had done for me is it showed me a new tier of productivity, and it still is with me today. That's the trick. That productivity, still with me today. And this was months ago where I actually did the experiment. Now, I do not have the same pace every day, but I really want to do that. So I was bringing this up earlier that it was like exciting to go to stand up, but I'm going to elaborate on that. It was exciting to go to work every day because it stopped being work and it was a performance. Every single day was a performance. What does that mean? That means that it felt like I was running a race. I got in there, I got at the starting line, and boom, I was off, right? That was every single morning for those 3 weeks. I would go into lunch break and be eager to be done with lunch break to continue. I would go, get to the end of the workday and be like, whew. And then I was like fully relaxed after that. And then I was like, oh man, I can't wait for the next day. We're going to go and do better this time. And I kept going and going and going and going. Now, that's a little weird, right? It's a little different. But what happens if you do that for 52 weeks of the year? And you compound that over years and years and years and years, and you can maintain that a long time. Well, you're going to have outrageously good outcomes. Now, for me, I had moved soon after doing those 3 weeks. So then I slowed down and, didn't maintain that pace. But I often think about it. It's like, what if I did that for a whole year? My boss wouldn't be able to keep up. I'm still working pretty hard, but if I kept that pace, right? And it makes me think, like, there are people out there who can keep that pace. But you have to be willing to try, right? And so you could just stop kind of fantasizing about being really good and just force yourself to do it. Keep yourself accountable and try to be super productive. Try to push yourself to your limits. Make it to where when you hit your limits, you say, ho, 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 this is worth it. You may not get it the first time, though. You might hit there and get this roadblock or something. I'm not even at my limit, right? So I was able to get so much work done that it constantly impressed my boss every single day. But I could still feel and sense that there was a level above that. And so this is what I'm leaving you all with is, take Dan Pena up on his challenge to actually work the hardest work days you can, period. Work harder than you have imagined yourself capable of doing. Just force it to happen. Will yourself into it. Imagine yourself doing it, before you have a big race, you sit there and you imagine yourself running and doing a good job, passing the baton, all of that. Put that into your work as well. Try to perform the whole time as if the world is watching, and take that into your next work day. Do that for 3 weeks straight, and then comment on here. Tell me what happened. Talk to your boss too during that week. Just tell him what you got done, and just keep giving them updates and keep promoting yourself so that eventually he might promote you. You know what I mean? And so this may be kind of like, oh, whatever. This is one of those, like, some guy on the internet says something and it's supposed to mean something to you. I did this. It was Dan Pena. He said this thing. I rolled my eyes and then I stopped and I said, wait, why don't I try it out? So that's what I'll leave you with. You should try it out and then tell me what your results are. So 3 weeks, working as hard as possible, harder than you would normally. And I would say, like, harder than what you think is a tough day at work. That means if you've got an 8-hour office job, no YouTube, no social media, nothing, no cell phone, just pure 8 hours of working as hard as you can. Start to the finish of the day. If you can do that and see the amount of things you get done, it might change your life, because it will reveal some secrets to you about yourself and your capabilities. But more importantly, now you're pushing it.